Welcome to Spurs Focus, your go-to spot for daily Tottenham news, transfers, and match updates. Don't forget to support the channel by hitting that subscribe button now. Let's dive into today's top story. Tottenham Hotspur lost 1-0 to Bournemouth in Thomas Frank's first Premier League defeat at the club on Saturday afternoon. And here are our Spurs player ratings. Spurs fans got a glimpse of new signing Xavi Simons ahead of kickoff as he was unveiled on the pitch following his £52 million move from RB Leipzig on a 5-year contract with an option for another 2. The 22-year-old Dutchman signed after the deadline to register for the game against the Cherries and is awaiting his work permit. Frank named an unchanged team from the one that beat Manchester City 2-0 at the Etihad Stadium the previous weekend. Dominic Solanke missed out on the squad though, with his ankle injury from the summer still giving him discomfort, meaning Manus Solomon was back on the bench for the first time in 2 years. Destiny Udogie was also back on the bench after his return from injury, with Jed Spence remaining at left-back after earning himself his first England call-up. Bournemouth struck early on when Evanilson scored 4 minutes in. He was given too much space in the box, and his shot deflected off the sliding Cristian Romero and over Guglielmo Vicario's dive with Spence slow to get out and playing him onside. The Cherries could have scored more goals with Vicario making a string of saves in both halves to keep the home side in the game, until a later flurry from Tottenham brought plenty of huffing and puffing, but no equaliser. Guglielmo Vicario couldn't do much about Evanilson's deflected early finish, but did push away Brooks' clever free kick not too long after. Did well to get a palm to Semenyo's half volley just after the break. Made another save at the feet of Evanilson before denying Brooks a little while after. 8 Pedro Porro had a torrid time with Semenyo down his flank. Sent in a couple of half-decent balls, one which led to a Bergvall chance, but this was not his day. Was hooked with 20 minutes to go. 4 Cristian Romero unfortunate to deflect Evanilson's shot into the goal, although he did let the Brazilian peel away from him too easily. Pushed up the pitch as the game wore on, often relying on his younger centre-back partner to deal with what came. 6 Mickey van der Ven picked up an early caution, made a great block from Tavernier midway through the first half and made a number more in the second half. He and Vicario are Spurs' best players by a distance. He was constantly getting in the tackles and then taking the ball up the pitch. 8 Jed Spence fresh from his first England call-up, he was slow to get out and played Evanilson onside for his early goal, switched to the right later on and put in a great cross that Tell volleyed wide. 6 Rodrigo Bentancur gave everything and made some good interceptions, but he's not a creative player. 6 Joao Palhinha put in a couple of challenges, but Bournemouth just kept sweeping through. 5 Mohamed Kudus flattered to deceive, plenty of beating one man but then giving the ball away soon after in his play. Should have got a few more fouls than he did. Put in some poor crosses as well after getting into good positions. 5 Pape Matar Sarr never really found the rhythm of the game or where his position needed him to be. 5 Brennan Johnson started the game brightly but seemed to lose his confidence with a string of poor decisions, and the crowd let him know it. After goals in both the previous games, the fans cheered his substitution and he had to walk around the pitch in front of them. 4 Richarlison held up the ball well in the final exchanges, but this was nowhere near the level of performance he'd put in previously this season. 5 Lucas Bergvall sent a shot at the goalkeeper and brought some energy to the centre of the pitch, making one good late run. 6 Wilson Odobert half-volleyed over from inside the Bournemouth box and made one good tracking run to stop Semenyo getting in on goal. Still looks lightweight at times and doesn't make the most of his ability. 5 replaced Porro for the final 15 minutes and sent a last-gasp header across the face of goal. 5 Mathys Tell brought a little burst of late energy to the game in the final stages and sent an acrobatic volley just wide of the left-hand post. A. Thomas Frank is holding his press conference following Tottenham's 1-0 home defeat against Bournemouth on Saturday afternoon in the Premier League. Frank named an unchanged team from the one that won 2-0 at Manchester City the previous weekend. Dominic Solanke did miss out on the squad though, with his ankle injury still giving him discomfort, meaning Manus Solomon was back on the bench for the first time in 2 years. Destiny Udogie was also among the substitutes after his return from injury, with Jed Spence remaining at left-back after earning himself his first England call-up. Bournemouth struck early on when Evanilson scored 4 minutes in. He was given too much space in the box, and his shot deflected off the sliding Christian Romero and over Guglielmo Vicario's dive with Spence slow to get out and play. Massive news coming out of Tottenham Hotspur today. Fabrizio Romano has officially confirmed a huge update that could change things for Spurs. This is a big one for Ange Postecoglou's side. Let's get straight into it. Thomas Frank is holding his Tottenham Hotspur press conference ahead of the Premier League match against Bournemouth. The Dane should be in high spirits after a perfect start to the Premier League season. At Tottenham, with 5 goals, 2 clean sheets, and maximum points from the opening matches against Burnley and Manchester City. Now Frank is also set to get a boost in quality and creativity to his squad with the transfer of Xavi Simons from RB Leipzig. The 22-year-old Netherlands international will fill the gap left by the injuries to James Maddison and Dejan Kulusevski. And if the deal is announced by the time the press conference begins, then Frank will speak about the former PSG starlet's arrival. Ahead of the visit of Bournemouth, the Dane will explain whether Spurs will, as expected, look to sign a winger and a centre-back as well in the remainder of the transfer window before Monday's deadline. The Tottenham boss will also deliver an update on the latest injuries within the squad, with Destiny Udogie previously back in training, and news on any fresh knocks or problems in the team. Our Spurs correspondent Alasdair Gold is among those putting the questions to Frank ahead of the latest Premier League game. Scroll down for his latest updates from the press conference at Hotspur Way. We've got every word Thomas Frank said when asked about Xavi Simons, more transfers, the latest injury news, Jed Spence's England call-up, when Radu Dragusin will be back, and plenty more, which you can find by going right here or scroll down for some highlights. Thomas Frank has provided an update on Destiny Udogie's fitness and confirmed that one Spurs ace will miss out against Bournemouth this weekend. Tottenham Hotspur are closing in on a transfer for RB Leipzig's Xavi Simons, and the player could be given the perfect welcome gift once his move to the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium's complete. A new arrival brings excitement to fans, with one of the questions as to what shirt number that the new man may wear. The departure of Son Heung-min earlier this summer gives Spurs the perfect answer for Simons. While the 22-year-old currently wears the number 10 with Leipzig, during his time with PSV Eindhoven, he wore the number 7. Son's departure has left that number free to take. Simons currently wears the number 10 with Leipzig, but that is the number currently worn by James Maddison at Tottenham. As well as wearing it for PSV, the number 7 is also the number worn by Simons during international duty with the Netherlands over the past 3 years. Replicating his international number with his club should therefore appeal to the player. If you want to know what the arrival of Xavi Simons will mean for Spurs' homegrown tech foreign players' issues and their Champions League squad, you can head right here to find out. We've been told that the press conference will now take place at 2:30 p.m. Hopefully that's because Frank can't speak about non-Tottenham players, and perhaps a certain someone is being announced. That's just our wild speculation though. Tottenham fans have reason to cheer. Destiny Udogie is finally back. After missing all of pre-season and the first 3 games through injury, Thomas Frank has confirmed the 22-year-old left-back will be in the squad for Saturday's Premier League clash with Bournemouth. While Yves Bissouma remains sidelined, there's also positive news on Radu Dragusin's recovery. Thomas Frank has confirmed that Destiny Udogie is back in the Tottenham squad for Saturday's home match against Bournemouth. The left-back has failed to feature for Tottenham since their opening pre-season friendly at Reading due to a knee injury. Udogie picked up the issue in the warm-up ahead of the friendly at Luton Town in late July and subsequently missed the pre-season tour of Asia and also Tottenham's first 3 competitive games of the new campaign. Frank did provide a positive update on the player ahead of last weekend's win at Manchester City, but the game just came too soon for the 22-year-old to return. Speaking ahead of this weekend's Premier League encounter against Bournemouth, Frank gave a fresh update on his left-back. Yes, he could feature. He's in the squad, and that's very positive for us, admitted the Dane. One player who won't be fit to be included in the squad is Yves Bissouma, but there is some good news when it comes to Radu Dragusin, making his return from a long-term ACL issue. I think with Bissouma, one thing for sure, he's out for the next game, and then the specific timeline I'm a little bit in doubt of because I don't think it'll be that long, said Frank. Dragusin is on the way back and he's been running for a while. I think he should join the team in a week's time. 10 days' time. I think that's the thing. So that's positive. But of course it is an ACL. I'm always a little bit more. Not worried, but just aware that it takes time. When you've been out of football for 9 months, you need to get in. It's not enough to have a 6-week pre-season. You need to take a little bit more time, but it's positive and some surprise. And come back quicker, of course.